In June 2025, Joe Rogan sat down on his podcast and dropped what should have been a national emergency. He looked at his guest, comedian Jim Norton, and said, "Our bread is f***ed. We're being poisoned." And the internet collectively went, "Joe, calm down. It's bread." He was right. Today we're explaining why Joe Rogan was right. Why American bread is the most chemically engineered loaf on planet Earth, and why most of the developed world refuses to let this stuff anywhere near their grocery stores. We're talking about the ingredient that's also in your yoga mat, the chemical that's a known carcinogen. The time Subway lost a court case in Ireland because their bread was legally classified as cake, and the secret reason Americans feel like trash after eating bread that Italians eat every day with zero problems. Subscribe to American Food Explained. Every week we explain why your kitchen is trying to kill you. Now let's get into why Rogan, for once, was completely right. Let's set the scene. Joe Rogan, the most listened to podcast host on Earth, has been getting into health and nutrition for years. He works out. He takes supplements. He gets cold plunges. He's that guy at the gym you don't want to make eye contact with. And in June 2025, on episode 2335 of his podcast with comedian Jim Norton, the topic of bread came up. And Joe went off. "Our bread is f***ed. Go eat bread in Italy. You won't feel bad at all. We're f***ing poisoned." Then he pulled up a video and read this out loud. "In America, what we call bread can't even be considered food in parts of Europe." Can't even be considered food.
What?
Now look, Joe Rogan says a lot of things. Sometimes he's on the money. Sometimes he tells you to inject yourself with elk DNA. It's a coin flip. But on this one, on the bread, he was so right it should be illegal. Let me show you why. Try this at home. Take a loaf of Wonder Bread, leave it on your counter, walk away. Come back in 3 weeks. It will look exactly the same. Now do the same with French bread, Italian bread, German bread. They turn into science experiments within a week. You might think American bread is just better engineered. Wrong, wrong, so wrong. Bread is supposed to mold. Mold is a sign that real food can grow on it. Mold means living organisms can digest it. Mold means it's actually food. If your bread can survive 3 weeks on a counter, the question isn't, why does it last so long? The question is, what is it made of? Spoiler alert, you're not gonna like the answer. For about 10,000 years, humans made bread the same way. Flour, water, salt, yeast. 4 ingredients: mixed, risen, baked, done. The Egyptians, the Romans, medieval peasants, your great-great-grandmother. Same 4 ingredients for 10,000 years. And then America happened. We invented sliced bread. Then we needed to ship it across the country. Then we needed it to last longer than 3 days. Then we needed it whiter, fluffier, sweeter, cheaper. Preservatives, stabilizers, dough conditioners, bleaching agents, sweeteners, emulsifiers, anti-staling enzymes, mold inhibitors. And before anyone could blink, we'd added 72 more ingredients to bread. The average loaf of American sandwich bread today contains 76 ingredients to make 4-ingredient bread. That's not a recipe. That's a chemistry final exam. Back to Joe. On the podcast, he played a video that broke it down, and I quote, "American flour is stripped of nutrients, enriched with folic acid many can't metabolize, bleached with chlorine gas, and made to rise with potassium bromate, a known carcinogen banned overseas." Let's break that down because it's somehow worse than it sounds. First, American wheat is sprayed with glyphosate before harvest. Glyphosate is the active ingredient in Roundup, the weed killer. American farmers spray Roundup on wheat right before harvesting it. Why? Because it kills the wheat at exactly the right moment, making harvesting easier and faster. Banned for this use in most of Europe, standard practice in America. Next, they bleach the flour with chlorine gas. Yes, the same chlorine gas they used as a chemical weapon in World War I. We use it to make our bread look prettier. Banned for food use in the UK, banned in the EU, used freely in America. Then they add potassium bromate, a dough conditioner that makes the bread rise higher and look fluffier. It's also classified by the World Health Organization as a Category 2B carcinogen. Translation: probably gives you cancer. Banned in the European Union, Canada, Brazil, Argentina, Nigeria, South Korea, Peru, Sri Lanka, Colombia, India, China. Banned in California. Still legal everywhere else in America. California, the state that bans plastic straws, said this is too much for us. And the FDA, the agency that's supposed to protect Americans, they asked bakers to voluntarily stop using potassium bromate. In 1991, 35 years ago. Most bakeries said no. The FDA shrugged, moved on. That's not regulation. That's a polite request being ignored for 3 decades. And then there's azodicarbonamide, another dough conditioner, used to bleach flour and strengthen dough. Try saying that 5 times fast. It's also used to make yoga mats. Your morning toast is chemically related to the mat you do downward dog on. And the PVC pipes under your kitchen sink, and the rubber in your sneakers. Banned in food in the EU, Australia, Singapore, the UK, still legal in America. Land of the free, home of the yoga mat sandwich. You think I'm exaggerating? Let me tell you about the time a Supreme Court actually had to rule on whether American bread was, technically, bread. In 2020, Subway tried to argue something simple. They gotten their bread to be classified as staple food for tax purposes, because in Ireland, basic foods like bread aren't taxed, but things like cake and confectionery are. Subway said, "We sell bread, we shouldn't pay tax." Irish law states that bread cannot contain more than 2% sugar of the flour weight. That's the legal definition. Subway's bread, 10% sugar. 5 times the legal limit. 5 times. The court took one look at this and said, "That's not bread, that's cake." So technically, every American who's ever eaten a Subway sandwich in Ireland was eating cake. With ham and mayonnaise. And here's the punchline. Subway bread in Ireland follows the same basic recipe as Subway bread in America. So if Irish Subway bread is legally cake, what are you eating? It's not just Subway. American sandwich bread averages around 8 to 21 grams of sugar per slice. For reference, a Krispy Kreme donut has 13. American bread has more sugar than a donut. And we eat it for breakfast and call it healthy. We are not a serious country. So you're probably wondering, if most of the world banned this stuff, why hasn't America? Great question. The answer is money. It's always money. Don't act surprised. America uses something called the GRAS system, generally recognized as safe. It allows food companies to self-certify their own ingredients. Read that again. Food companies get to decide if their own ingredients are safe. It's like letting a fox certify that the hen house is secure. Spoiler, the fox always says it's secure. Europe uses the opposite approach, the precautionary principle. Translation: prove it's safe before you sell it, not sell it and see what happens to the population over 50 years. America says innocent until proven guilty. Europe says guilty until proven safe. Both work, just for very different things. The American system works great if you're a chemical company. The European system works great if you're a human being. Make of that what you will. Here's the thing. After Rogan called American bread poison, people lost their minds in the comments. Joe, what are we supposed to do? Stop eating bread? And Rogan actually had an answer. He said, quote, "Eat sourdough bread. Sourdough is f***ing great for you." He's right again. Sourdough is made the old way. Wild yeast, flour, water, salt, thyme. That's it. No preservatives, no conditioners, no bleach, no yoga mat chemicals. Just bread, like humans have been making for 10,000 years. In France, by law, traditional bread can only contain 4 ingredients. It's called le décret pain, the bread law. They literally passed legislation to protect bread from companies trying to mess with it. And those baguettes? They go stale in 24 hours, mold in 3 days. Because that's what real food does. American bread that lasts 3 weeks isn't a miracle. It's a warning sign. Look, I'm not telling you to never eat American bread. I'm telling you to read the label. If the ingredient list looks like a chemistry textbook, maybe that's not breakfast. Find a real bakery, buy sourdough, bake your own, or do what most of the world does. Treat bread like food, not like a science experiment. Joe Rogan was right. We're poisoning ourselves with bread. The good news? You can stop anytime you want. So that's why Joe Rogan was right. 76 ingredients: chlorine bleached flour, glyphosate sprayed wheat, potassium bromate carcinogens, yoga mat chemicals, legally classified as cake by an Irish court. And the FDA has been politely asking bakers to stop for 35 years. It's not bread, it's a science fair project, and Americans eat it every day. Subscribe to American Food Explained so you don't miss what we're explaining next.